Hello everybody, this is Generaljannis, and in today's Death Card Tactics I'm going to be looking at the post-battle analysis of my first battle of 2021. So it was, as I made the pre-battle video, it was a Death Card versus Ultramarines 2000 points. And how did it actually go? So let's get started. So today, the 29th of March, and last Sunday, I had the chance finally to play my first game of 2021, 2000 points Death Card versus Ultramarines in the Danish battle report channel Skudlinjen, which means line of fire. I have, as I said, already made a pre-battle video talking about my preparations, my thoughts, and list selection pre-game, and I will add the link in description if you want to read this first to try to understand this battle. And now the battle report is online on YouTube. I will put a link here, a card you can press and watch. So if you want to see you see me in real life rolling some dice for Nurgle, you can pause this video and press the link and go to see the battle report. The battle report is in Danish. I don't know if there is some auto translate or something, but if you would like to do, if you continue in this video, spoiler alert, you will know, you will see who won the game. So in this video, I will be giving a quick recap of the lists, talking about what mission and secondaries, then a short battle turn-by-turn description, focusing more on the key moments, and of course it's not like a full battle report in this video. And then some post-game analysis, what were the key defining moments in the battle, how do I rank the Death Guard army I took, and what units performed well and who didn't perform well, and then some thoughts for improvement and better lists. And before I start, a big thanks and shout outs to all my patrons, to two sepsis cohorts and growing. So thank you guys for your support. So with no further ado, let's take a look and a final chance to pause this video and go and watch the battle report. So, quick recap of my list. So, in this game, I took 2000 points Inexorable Plaguecompany with a Lord of Contagion, having the Reaper of Entropy, Glorious Entropy Relic, and the Ferric Blight Warlord trait, the Malignant Plaguecaster with Miasma Pestilence and Curse of the Leper. And I also, at the final moment, added Arch Contaminator Warlord trait. I will come back to this in a bit. And then for troops, I had a big unit of Plague Marines, 10 Plague Marines, the champion with Plasma Pistol, Power Fist, 2 Flails, 2 Cleavers, 1 Axe, and 2 Blight Launchers. So this was the big squad that I hoped could make a difference in the game and make big damage. And I wanted to see what the Cleavers can do up close and personal. A small squad of 5 Plague Marines with 2 Plasma guns, so the champion has Plasma, and 1 Blind Launcher, and 2 Poxwalkers to hold objectives and probably spread sickness. In the elite choices, Tallyman, almost an auto-include for me. I added a Tollkeeper to get exploding sixes, Foul Blightspawn with Viscous Pathogen on the Flamer, and the Revolting Stenchvast Relic to make sure that hopefully that my, for example, Plague Marines would not be able to fight first, even if some opponent charged them with Foul Blightspawn close by. And then 5 Blightlord Terminators, able to deep strike with flail and Reaper autocannon, and then 3 Death Shroud with the champion having the extra gauntlet. And then in the fast attack, I had 2 Furtive Blow Drones, one with a mower and one with a spitters. I wanted to try how the spitters work with the new codex. This was one of my favorite units in the 8th edition and start of 9th. And then in the heavy support slot, 2 Plagueverse Scrollers with Entropy and Slugger, auto include for me to give us some long range support that we need and to scare our opponent as well. And then as a first, the Fortification Detachment, first time I was trying out, the Miasmic Malignifier for 75 points, and very big thanks to Igor in the comments. He pointed out that I first thought I had to pay 1 command point to bring the Fortification Detachment, but actually you get it for free if it's the same Plague Company and the same, let's say, as the other detachment. So I could get this for free. I freed up 1 command point, and I thought, okay, let's give the Malignant Plaguecaster the Arch Contaminator Warlord trait to help, for example, Plague Marines in melee rerolling, and this was useful in the game. So thanks, Igor, for pointing out. And then the Ultramarines list, very quickly, a captain, Tigurius, named Psyker character that was basically stronger than the Malignant Plaguecaster. In the troops, 2 units of intercessors, 1 unit of 5 assault intercessors, and then in the lead slot, 5 veteran intercessors with assault rifles. Then a Redemptor dreadnought with a Gatling cannon, 1 with a plasma, an ironclad dreadnought, the veteran intercessors, and then the big threat, 10 Vanguard veteran terminators with jam packs, with a lot of nasty melee weapons here. In the heavy support, a Gladiator Reaper with a twin heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, being able to fire 24 shots, strength 6, AP -1, damage 1. So really an anti-Death Guard Plague Marine weapon. And this I wanted to avoid being shot by this type of weapons here. And then 3 Eradicators and an Impulsor as a transport. So the mission, we rolled for the mission, and we got vital intelligence from the Grand Tournament 2020, and it's this type of map with the diagonal deployment zones. The primary objective, if you hold 2 or more objectives, you score 5 points. 3 or more objectives, 5 more points, and if you have more than the opponent, 5 more points for a maximum of 15. And this special map here is that you hold the objective until the opponent recaptures them, so you could potentially move away from an objective. You don't have to stay to the objective, which was quite good, I think, for this mission, and plenty of objectives to contaminate if possible. So we decided that both of us would go for the mission secondary. It's a thing for the channel that it's nice to take the mission secondary. So in this mission secondary, you can do the data intercept action. So 1 unit from the army can start to perform an action if they are close to an objective and the opponent is not close to that objective. And then at the end in the start of the next own command phase, you score points on how many objectives you hold at that moment. It was not super optimal for me because Poxwalkers cannot do this action, and I had 2 Poxwalkers to do the actions. But then I thought, okay, I can use some of the other units maybe. So the Death Guard secondaries I selected, I already had in mind to take the Engage all fronts and spread the sickness, as I discussed in the pre-battle. So Engage all fronts, quite good here, able to get to 3 table quarters quickly with the blow drones, and spread the sickness to do with the Poxwalkers. And then I took the data intercept. The third one, I didn't know what to select. It was a bit, let's see the mission, let's say. Well, and now we took the data intercept. And the Ultramarines, they took Assassinate, because I have 4 characters. Oath of the Moment, that gives them if they pass morale and don't fall back, they get 1 victory point per turn. If they are within 6 inches of the center, they get 2 points, and then if they kill a vehicle or monster, they get 1 more point. So a total 4 per turn possible, and then also the data intercept. So let's see how we deployed. So this is the deployment of the battle, cutting some images from the video here. So for me, I put the Blightlord Terminators, so the Death Shroud Terminators in Teleport Strike, but I chose to have the Lord of Contagion on the table. So I put my Poxwalkers back here, 1 unit to control the objective in my own space. And then I had the blow drones in either flank. Here I put the one with the mower, and here I put the one with the spitters. Here is another group of Poxwalkers. I was thinking to try to come here and contaminate some of these objectives on this side. And here I have my Plague Burst Crawlers in the back to be able to shoot and see, have line of fire to the enemy vehicles. And then I have my Plague Marines are constituting the center. And I put my Malignifier in this side of the board, where the opponent's Vanguard Terminators and Dreads were here. So my idea was to try to protect my Plague Marines in cover here, and also make this closer target. If they wanted to shoot, I could use Cloud of Flies here. That was my idea, and I put them here over this pipe here to be protected from to get some light cover here as well. And then on the flanks of this big unit, I had the Lord of Contagion. I have the Tallyman here between the two Plague Marine units, and I had here the Foul Blightspawn trying to get an aura going, and then the Arch Contaminator. And here was the group of 5 Plague Marines. And here I can make sure that if the opponent comes and takes this objective, they will be within the contagion of my Malignifier, which has a 9-inch contagion range. The Ultramarines, they put the Eradicators in strategic reserves and then everything else on the table. The Captain and the Veteran Intercessors were in the Impulsor with the Ironclad on this flank, and the Ironclad has a very nasty weapon against vehicles, so I didn't want that to come into combat with my Blow Drone, let's say. So the Dreadnoughts here in this flank, and the Gladiator here. And the infantry, a lot of the intercessors and the Vanguard veterans and Tigurius here in the center, opposed to my big infantry center. And then in this one, I was not really sure if I wanted to go first or if I wanted to go second. I didn't think it would matter so much, but regardless, I won the dice roll and I got the first turn. So let's see what I did. So in the turn 1, it started nicely. In the command phase, Tallyman gave me 1 command point, and I gave it a +1 to hit on my 10 Plague Marines. I advanced both Blow Drones, and they managed to come in and take control over these objectives. So I was thinking here I can score Engage all fronts and grab some objectives. I advanced the Poxwalkers here as much as possible to be able to then on the next turn contaminate these objectives. I moved the Plague Burst Crawlers a little bit to get line of sight and to be able to shoot the opponents here. And then the Plague Marine, these Plague Marines moved only here, so they could do the data intercept action still on this objective. And my big unit, the big squad here, the 10 Plague Marines and all the supporting characters advanced and tried to come within cover of the Malignifier and protected by the aura, but it was not exactly possible. But they managed to come close here, but they were not close to this objective. And then at the end of my movement phase, my Poxwalkers did the Spread the Sickness action on this one, and I started the data intercept also on this one, hoping to control at least these 3 for my next turn and get some points. In Psychic phase, Arch Contaminator, the Plaguecaster put Miasma of Pestilence on my 10-man Marines to protect them even further. And then my 10 Plague Marines, even if they did advance, they can shoot the Blight Launchers. They have 2 Blight Launchers. They shot a group of Intercessors here, killing 2 Intercessors. So the Blight Launchers did already some job, and I'm really happy for the Blight Launcher weapon. The Plague Burst Crawler, I used the Disgusting Force on the mortar here to try to start chipping away on the Vanguard veterans. I re-rolled, so I got 5 shots. Ultimately, I just killed 1 Terminator. They did some good saves with their save rolls, and then the Disgusting Force, it gave 1 mortal wound only. I rolled 4 times and I only did a mortal wound on Tigurius, but I chipped away 1 of the Vanguard veterans, and the other I shot the cannons and did some wounds on this Dreadnought, and I did some wounds with this Plague Burst Crawler. Shot everything on this one and did some wounds here. So that was basically the end of my turn. I got 2 points for Engage all fronts, being on 3 table quarters. I controlled 3 objectives, and the Poxwalker successfully auto-passed. Let's say I took D3 mortal wounds to contaminate this one. I got a mortal wound and I rolled a 6, so not even a Poxwalker died. And now the turn 1 for the Ultramarines in the movement and the shooting phase. Then the Vanguard veterans, they flew off here to try to come and charge my Plague Marines, trying to take control of the center. Here, push me back. The Dreadnought and Gladiators all came forward. This Dreadnought is not really in objective range of this marker, but he's trying to make a charge on my Blow Drone, and he has very good. The Claw is very good against. It's dangerous weapon. The Impulsor moved forward and unloaded the Veteran Intercessors and the Captain, and the Assault Intercessors came here and took control of this objective. And then yeah, basically the other eradicators, they stayed put, and this eradicator intercessor squad, they started the data intercept mission here. So in the crucial shooting phase, I used Cloud of Flies on my Plague Marines, and therefore the big dreads, the big threats to this cannot fire at the big squad. So I used the 2 CP, and I thought that was really well spent. The Vanguard veterans and the veteran intercessors, they can shoot at them because they are still the closest model. I think they were also within 12 inches. But the big guns with strength 6 can basically only here have access to shoot at this blow drone or the malignifier. And then everything here unleashes to kill the malignifier. But then after the smoke clears, basically the malignifier was still standing with 2 wounds. And here it was very close that it was dead, and maybe I made an error in one of my saving throws. But I forgot that I could use a smoke screen stratagem to make it even harder to hit, and that would have probably kept it a bit better. But it survived, and therefore it protected my Plague Marines from this important first turn. Then everything that could fire on the Plague Marines killed only, I think it only killed 1, and the Miasma of Pestilence also helped here, and I just lost one of the bolter guys. And finally, the Ironclad shot at the Poxwalkers here, but it failed. The Poxwalkers saved with a 6 again, feel no pain, and toughness 4 really helps them against the strength 4 bolter weapons. So basically, I didn't took so much beat. I took a beating on the Malignifier, but it survived. And then in the charge and fight, which was really crucial for the game, the Dreadnought tried to charge the Blow Drone, and here I used the stratagem from the Inexorable, the Ferric Miasma, giving it a -2 to the charge roll, and therefore it just failed with 1 inch this charge roll. Otherwise, it could have potentially maybe killed this and taken over the flank. So it really helped me to have access to this stratagem, making me difficult to charge. So it needed a 9-inch charge, and an 8 was rolled. Otherwise, it would have been able to do it with a 7-inch. And then in the crucial part in the middle, the Vanguard Terminators charge the Malignifier and the Plague Marines in the middle, and the Malignifier has an auto-hit weapon, and I managed to overshoot that, and I killed one Terminator with this, and it also really helped by giving -1 toughness aura emanating from the Malignifier. It was now the Terminators are basically only toughness 3. And by doing this charge here, the way I had placed my Foul Blight Spawn, it was nearly impossible to come in and attack my Plague Marines in any other way, and avoid the Foul Blight Spawn's aura. So this allowed me that the Plague Marines could strike first, and the +1 they had gotten from the Tallyman, and having the Lord of Contagion giving them reroll 1s, and the Arch Contaminator rerolling everything wounding weapon with plague weapons was really good. And here the Plague Marines killed 4 Terminators more, leaving only 4 Terminators left to fight back. And I think they killed the two Plague Marines in this game-defining sequence, and now it's starting to look gloom for the Terminators and the Ultramarines. They cannot break through here with the Terminators as they had hoped. And I also used this to my advantage because I could pile in and consolidate, and I got 1 Plague Marine within 3 inches of this objective marker here. So here now I control 1, 2, 3, and 4 objectives on my turn. So this was a really good move. I sustained a lot of firing, and I could use the aura to kill the Vanguard Terminators and cripple them before they could do serious damage. So in my second turn, Death Guard is an important turn to fight back now. I started by controlling 4 objectives. I scored 15 victory points on the primary. I also score 4 victory points for the data intercept mission, and Tallyman also again gives me 1 command point more, and this is helpful as I'm using some command points here and there for stratagems and rerolls, etc. I move the flesh mower up here to threaten the assault intercessors here. The Plague Marines move up to try to come close to this objective. These pox workers move up to spread the contagion to this objective, and they start spreading the sickness. Here my Plague Marines are locked into combat. I move around my characters here so the Foul Blightspawn can shoot something, and the Lord of Contagion decides he will try to go solo here, and with hopefully some help from Deathshroud Terminators that can deep strike, he can threaten the center of the opponent and take the fight to the Captain and Tigurius here. He still keeps 6 inches away from the Terminators to give them his contagion range, also giving +1 AP to anything that will fight here later or shoot. We will see. I drop the Blightlord Terminators in the backfield here, 9 inch away from this squad. I'm hoping to shoot this squad and charge here. And now I'm also having a presence in 4 table squares, which was quite good. And I drop in the Deathshroud Terminators here, 3 inch. They are 9 inch away from these big squads here, and they can a bit protect. Hopefully they can make the charge and protect the Lord of Contagion. That was at least my hope. And in my shooting phase, it was very efficient. So here, after making the grenade video, I remembered the Blightening stratagem. So I chose 3 of the guys here engaged with the Terminators to shoot their grenades as a pistol 6. So I get 18 auto hits, re-rolling all wound rolls with the Arc Contaminator nearby. They're gaining AP -1 from the Lord of Contagion. And basically this really kills off and finishes the Terminators in the shooting phase. So this was really good. So first unit down, and the shooting from the Plaguebear Scrollers killed the Plasma Dread, and the other Terminator managed, with the Entropy Cannons going straight through, they managed to kill the Ironclad. And here the Foul Blightspawn, his gun is a damage 2, but the dreads are reducing the damage to 1, so he didn't do so much as he was previously being able to do when his weapon was a damage 3 weapon, but he chipped off a couple of wounds, and the Plaguebear Scroller finished off. And the Death Shroud, they killed 1 Veteran Intercessor. The Veteran Intercessors did the Auspex tactics and nearly managed to kill one of the Death Shroud. I had to re-roll 1 save, and one of the Death Shroud Terminators had one wound left. The Blightlord Terminators shoot everything they have. There are 12 bolter shots and the rapid autocannon, Reaper autocannon, and basically they didn't do anything. They only 1 wound on these intercessors back here. So not a great start for the Blightlords, at least. And then in the charge and fight phase, I had already killed 3 units in the shooting phase. The Blowtron with the Flesh Mower takes out the Assault Intercessors here. The Spinning Flesh Mower kills, I think, 3. I think my Plague Marines had shot a couple in the shooting phase. And basically the Flesh Mower now is in control over this objective as well. Plague Marines as well. The Death Shroud, importantly, make their 9-inch charge coming into the Veteran Intercessors. The Lord of Contagion also makes his charge, and then the Space Marine Captain heroically, he's hidden behind this ruin. He heroically intervenes the Death Shroud. The Death Shroud starts fighting. 2 of them kill the Captain. The other one kills off a little bit of the Veteran Intercessors. And basically the Captain, with a stratagem to fight back, he kills one of the Death Shroud. So he was not, he used a lot of command points to try to do some damage, but the Death Shroud stand defiant, and they have taken out cut off the head of the Ultramarine army. The Lord of Contagion finishes off the Veteran Intercessors and can tag the Impulsor by his consolidation move. So basically breaking up this center and this side as well. now it looks really, yeah, it's very difficult for the Ultramarines now. And here, and the Blight Lords, of course, they failed their charge. I couldn't get lucky and roll too many high numbers on the charge rolls. So here I score 3 points for engage all fronts, and one more objective here. This one was contaminated by the Poxwalkers, and things are looking quite gloomy for the Ultramarines. So in the second turn of the Ultramarines, the tagged Impulsor falls back. Here you can see my Death Shroud looking mean, controlling this objective. So I hope you can remember the angles. And here on the center of the board, the Gladiator moves forward to be able to shoot the Plague Marines that are left, and the Dread comes here to also shoot the Plague Marines, and also to be able to charge this Blow-Drone finally. The Plague Marines get shot, but they are within. They get light cover here, so that helps them. And 4 die, but 3 survive the onslaught. So I kept the 2 guys with a cleaver and 1 guy with a flail to be able to counter charge this gladiator later on. And then and they are still importantly in the shadow of the malignant fire. They are still in control of this objective. The Eradicators arrive from the reserves in the Ultramarines backfield to shoot at the Blight Lords, and they manage to kill 3 Blight Lords. They are within D6. They are within 12 inches. I fail my save throws, and 3 Blight Lords are obliterated by the Meltas. And in the morale phase, following up my bad experience with Blight Lords, I roll a 6. One of the Blight Lord flees because I killed. Actually, I took off one of the champion. And the last model falls to combat attrition, rolling a 2. And it's another day of infamy for my Blight Lords. They came in, they did some noise. At least they took they took the Eradicator shots instead of another unit. That's the best thing I can say for the Blight Lords in this game. Tigurius charges the Lord of Contagion, makes a few wounds on the Lord of Contagion and smites him, etc. And the Lord of Contagion will fights back and leaves Tigurius with only 1 wound. And here I encountered the problem that I cannot re-roll my Reaper of Glorious Entropy. And yeah, I missed a couple of hits, and yeah, it was not fun to miss with a high relic. The Blow-Drone gets charged, but the Dread doesn't do much damage to it. I think it was a bit degraded, or it was yeah, he didn't roll so well, so he couldn't take the control of this objective and kill my Blow-Drone. So finally, the Death card third turn and end of game. Death card I'm still holding 4 objectives, or even 5 actually. So 15 victory points for the primary. The Death Guard are moving up to mop up the last resistance of the Ultramarines. We are shooting. I fall back with my 30 blow drone. We are shooting the Plague Scrollers and Fall Blightspawn, etc. We are shooting at the Gladiator and the Dread. The Dread is left with only 1 wound. The Mortars kill an Eradicator, and the Plague Marines and the Plague Caster manage to charge the Gladiator. The Death Shroud charged Tigurius, still locked in the fight, and surround Tigurius. So with only 1 wound, he will be dead in the next fight phase. So at this moment, after the shooting and the charge phase, the Ultramarines concede the game for a major Death Guard victory. And the end game results, so I was able to score a maximum on the primaries already from the first turn. I was able to get engaged on all fronts, spread the sickness. I would be able to do at least 1 more before the game, and then I could have also comfortably starting doing data intercepts with my Plague Marines or something like this. So when we at the point where we stopped, I was really ahead on points, and there was basically not much for the Ultramarines to do. The Ultramarines scored a little bit on the data intercept, and Oath of the Moment gave them some points, but never scored any primary or assassinate. So basically, I only lost 1 unit in the whole game, and that was the Blight Lord Terminators. To morale check. So post-game analysis and the key moments of the battle. I think overall my Death Guard list and the strategy worked as intended, as I have thought to do. Going first, I was able to get a good board presence early on, and with the death card resilience, I could stay on the objectives, and it was the Ultramarines could not push me back or make enough damage on my units to force me backwards and into the defensive, let's say. My shooting and the melee in turn 2 especially killed off the majority of the opponent units. I think I took out six units at that turn, so that was a really good turn. While the the Ultramarines couldn't make their effect in the counter turn 1, so in turn 2 Death Guard basically ended the game here. The secondaries worked well, engaged on all fronts, scored me something every turn. Spread the sickness was easy to do also with the poxwalkers in this game, and I think I would have done at least 9 victory points on this secondary, and the data intercept also helped me a little bit in the beginning, but basically the primaries won me the game here. And basically the key moments, the key defining for the game happened in the Ultramarines turn 1. This was the game defining and laid the foundation for the victory. And I think one of the most important things I chose here was the cloud of flies on the Plague Marines in combination being close to the Malignifier. It was really important, and 2 command points well spent. The opponent army had some very good anti-infantry shooting at that time, and those were quite west, where they could have really hurt the Plague Marines, but with the cloud of flies, they were forced to shoot something else, not really good for those weapons. So the Malignifier absorbed a load of shots and was really instrumental in the win. And then basically the biggest key point was the Vanguard Terminators charging, that this dangerous unit was stopped by the Foul Blightspawn aura with the Revolting Stench Vats, and the Plague Marines fighting first was game changing, and they can do great damage with the Lord of Contagion reroll, +1 to hit, and the Arch Contaminator was really helpful here in melee. I could have done even more if they didn't. The Vanguard Terminators had -1 to hit from Tigurius Prescience, but still, it broke the back of the Terminators, the fighting first, and really a game changer. And then the Ferric Miasma Stratagem, the Inexorable for 1 CP, kept the flank safe, avoiding the dreads to come even closer. And basically, I was, after the big push of the Ultramarines in turn 1, they didn't succeed. And then turn 2 was basically tying up and killing off a lot of Ultramarine units. Moving on to to the ranking of the Death Guard army and how the units performed, I think starting with a Lord of Contagion, basically he did what he had to do in the game. He killed off a unit of veteran intercessors and almost Tigurius. His reroll once aura helped the other units quite a lot. His Contagion with the 1 AP didn't come so much into play into this game. But the Reaper of Entropy relic didn't work as well as I had thought. I had a lot of misses and I couldn't reroll, so probably I could have had a better choosing some else relic for him. The Plaguecaster, the Arch Contaminator Warlord trait really helped in this game, because I had he was present where the battles were happening with Plague Marines, and especially in melee, the Arch Contaminator and with the Blightening, etc. It certainly helped. Miasma of Pestilence was really helpful also to keep the Plague Marines alive more, and I didn't get the chance to pull off Curse of the Leper, but all in all, he made a very good showing. The Plague Marines, especially the big squad, did the heavy fighting. They stopped the Vanguard Terminators in the tracks, and really they did a lot in melee, and they were very difficult to remove from the game. So I think all in all, the Plague Marines performed very well. And the Poxwalkers also, they did really what they had to do. They were spreading the sickness, scoring the victory points. I could easily have done three objectives by the end of the game, or maybe even one more if I could try to do that. They were surviving, and starting with a toughness 4 now, they are not so easy to kill. So they were really good for those points. And then Taliman, He gave me 3 command points in 3 turns, so just for that, he's basically worth his 70 points. I didn't get super much use for the Tollkeeper in this game. I forgot to use it once on Exploding Sixes, but I didn't shoot so much. I was more in melee, but his +1 to hit on the Plague Marines really also helped them a lot. So this is very good. So I think Taliban is one of the best units, supportive characters in the game for us. And then Foul Blightspawn, the revolting stench vats relic simply won the game at the end. I mean, this was really important that we could fight first, and especially with a very threatening group of Plague Marines, that really helped. His weapon is not so strong as before. Even with a viscous death, I could do rerolls and strength 8, but the damage 2 didn't really help. I was shooting a lot at his dreadnoughts that had a -1 to incoming damage, so it was not really so powerful. I could score a couple of hits here and there, but overall with his aura, he's really good and very good if we are playing some enemy units so that have strong melee units. The Deathshroud Terminators, they came down, they made their charge, and they did their job. They killed off the Space Marine captain, and in the same time, they also were guarding the Lord of Contagion from any let's say opponents shooting at him the next turn. So really beasts in melee. Next time, I will probably give the Reaper of the Entropy scythe to the champion, Deathshroud champion, but really well performing. The Blightlord Terminators, again, the poor performance of the Blightlords continues for me. I always am unlucky when I take Blightlords. So basically, a day of infamy. They failed to do anything with their shooting. Unfortunately, this is my experience with combi bolters. Don't do so much. The Reaper autocannon manages to do 1 wound. They failed their charge, and then they got picked off by the Eradicators, and they fled the field by bad morale. That also is part of my error, because I took off the champion to keep the Reaper autocannon and the flail guy. But maybe I should just have kept the, the champion on the board. At least as a good thing, they got me points for the secondary, engage on all fronts, and they also opened up a threat in that area so that the Eradicators have to come after them. So of course, in that sense, they helped a lot, but basically it was the only unit I lost in the game. The Fated Blow Drones, I think they also did their job. They performed really well at the flanks. They took objectives quickly. They were scoring the table quarters, and the mower did what it had to do when it charged the assault intercessors. So really good performance from the blow drones, and they are not easy to kill with toughness 7. And then the Plague Burst Crawlers, also really good. The Entropy Cannon did serious damage to the Dreads, and the Mortars help thin out the enemy. And basically, for me, they are also auto-include, and yeah, they make the enemy keep their heads down, and I mean they have to be careful while with the Entropy Cannons, and now with the 3+ shooting ballistic skill, they are really helping achieve good results. Finally, the Miasmic Malignifier. Wow, this thing actually did what it had to do, and played a good big contribution to the win in this game. It could be in other games that it would maybe be blasted off the first turn, or they have to do like that. But it's better than that the enemy's shots go to the Malignifier and not to, for example, the Plague Marine. So really, it was helpful applying the contagion and screening off the central charge of the infantry. So some thoughts for improvement. As I said, I think probably it's better to give the Glorious Entropy Reaper relic to the Deathshroud champion. The Lord of Contagion already has a damage 3 weapon, so basically it's better to give this relic to the Deathshroud champion, and maybe go with another, for example, Mortarion's Anvil, and give the Warp Insect Hive to the Lord of Contagion, giving him rerolls with his weapon, as many of you guys already had commented in the pre-battle video. So I think I'm really considering this for next list building. And at least for me, maybe it's better to take more Death Shroud instead of the Blight Lords. The Blight Lords added some shooting, but they didn't do so well. But of course, the Death Shroud would also be shot by the Eradicators in this scenario. I will try to remember the smoke screen for the Malignifier, and I also didn't use so much the stratagem to. I didn't use the stratagem for the damage spillover. I did a 6 damage with a cleaver on the Vanguard veteran Terminators, and I killed 1 model. And if I'd used this stratagem, I could have killed 3. And also maybe the stratagem I could have utilized the one that makes the opponent corrosive filth. I didn't use that one in this game. All in all, yeah, it was a victory, but I think there are a few things maybe to improve on the list and the tactics. But overall, since the result was so good, there is no point in changing too much, let's say, from this experience. So the final thoughts in summary, I was really excited to get to play my first game with a new death card and score a victory for the grandfather. And Nurgle was smiling on death card in this day. And it was good to see that most units performing well and doing what they should, what they're supposed to do on the tabletop. And it was fun to play with the contagions. It's fun to see the resilience of the troops. They also good shooting from the Plaguebeard Scrollers, the board presence with the blow drones, the supportive characters and their abilities all really helped to score this victory. And a big thanks to Jesper from Skudlinjen for making this battle possible and for his great hospitality. And I'm sure there will be some opportunities to get some revenge and turn the tables on the death card. Of course, I will try not to be happening, but I think also it was a learning experience also for the Ultramarines here, how strong some of the death card combos can be. And it's by no means that the death card will always be winning. So this concludes the video. If you have some comments or some questions or some other comments on the list, please leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe to the channel, where I will be sharing more Warhammer videos and death card tactics. If you want to support my efforts further, please visit my Patreon page, patreon.com Generaljannis. And with these words, Generaljannis is signing out. Stay safe out there, and bye-bye.